a comprehensive guide to setting up AWS Application Load Balancer with ECS Fargate for microservices. This podcast is brought to you by Business Compass LLC. We are an Amazon Web Services advanced consulting partner. We build and migrate workloads to Amazon Cloud. Our website is businesscompassllc.com. Our phone number is 973-638-2228. Our email address is contact@businesscompassllc.us. Introduction to Application Load Balancers and ECS Fargate Clusters. AWS Application Load Balancers, ALBs, and ECS Fargate Clusters are integral to modern cloud-native architectures. ALBs are designed to handle advanced routing, distribute incoming traffic to multiple targets, and provide high availability and scalability. ECS Fargate, on the other hand, allows you to run containers without managing the underlying infrastructure, making it an ideal choice for microservices architecture. Step-by-step guide, creating an application load balancer. Choosing the right scheme and network mapping. Navigate to the AWS Management Console. Go to the EC2 dashboard and select Load Balancers from the left-hand menu. To create a new load balancer, click Create Load Balancer and choose Application Load Balancer. Configure Load Balancer. Select a name for your ALB, choose the scheme, internet-facing or internal, and select the VPC and subnets where the ALB will operate. For redundancy, ensure you choose subnets in different availability zones. Selecting security groups for optimal access control. Create security groups. Define security groups that allow traffic to and from your ALB. For internet-facing ALBs, allow HTTP, port 80, and HTTPS, port 443, traffic. Assign security groups. Attach these security groups to your ALB to control access effectively. Configuring listeners and routing for microservice architecture. Add listeners. Configure listeners for HTTP and HTTPS protocols. HTTPS requires an SSL/TLS certificate, which can be managed via AWS Certificate Manager, ACM. Define routing rules. Set up default rules that forward traffic to appropriate target groups based on your microservice architecture. Creating target groups for each microservice. Define target groups. Create a target group for each microservice. Specify the target type, IP or instance, protocol, and port. Register targets. Add your microservices IP addresses or ECS tasks to their target groups. Understanding health checks and target registration. Configure health checks. Set up health checks to monitor the health of your targets. Define the path, protocol, and expected response to determine if a target is healthy. Adjust health check settings. Customize the interval, timeout, and threshold settings to suit your application's needs. Associating target groups with your load balancer. Link target groups. Attach the created target groups to the ALB listeners. This ensures traffic is routed to the correct microservice. Set up path-based routing. Define routing rules that forward traffic based on URL paths, for example, /service1/routes to microservice1's target group. Verifying the association for smooth functionality. Test routing rules. Ensure the routing rules work as expected by accessing the endpoints through the ALB's DNS name. Monitor traffic. Use CloudWatch metrics and ALB logs to monitor traffic and ensure requests are correctly routed. Handling multiple microservices with advanced routing rules. Define advanced rules. Create routing rules based on HTTP headers, methods, query strings, or source IP addresses. Prioritize rules. Set priorities for each rule to control the order in which they are evaluated. Adding routing rules based on endpoint paths. Specify path patterns. Define path patterns for each microservice, for example, API/v1/ for versioned APIs. Create rules. Add these path-based rules to the ALB to direct traffic to the correct microservice. Setting priority for efficient request handling. Assign priorities. Assign priorities to evaluate the most specific rules first. Test configuration. Verify that requests are routed according to the defined priorities and rules. Conclusion. Achieving reverse proxy functionality with AWS ALB. Setting up an AWS Application Load Balancer with an ECS Fargate cluster for multiple microservices provides a robust, scalable, and high availability solution for modern applications. Following the steps outlined in this podcast, you can efficiently manage traffic, ensure smooth functionality, and achieve reverse proxy functionality with advanced routing capabilities. Thank you for listening to our podcast. Please share this podcast, visit our website and follow our social media links.